It's another beautiful Friday at Sped Every Day with your girl Bola Tito Fatoki. I'm so excited to be with you again this week. If you're watching Sped Every Day for the first time, here is the best YouTube plug for you to learn about supporting our individuals with exceptionalities. Are you thinking of behavior intervention, academics, or social skills? What are those skills that they need to transition into adulthood or to transition into having a job or being among other people? Social skills, life skills. Here's the best plug for that. Today, I'll be talking to you about how to motivate a child with special needs. How to motivate a child with special needs, a child with exceptionalities. What are the tips you can use to help in motivating them to get the best out of them? Number one, I want you to think about this child's uniqueness first. Every child has their own individuality, what they are, who they are, how they see life, and what they project, So you want to be sure, what is unique about this child? And how can I use this uniqueness to be able to get the best out of my child? Or is he a student, your cousin, your nephew, whoever that person is to you? Or is this somebody that works with you? So first thing you want to do is you want to know and identify this person's individuality. What is special about this person? What does this person know? What are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? Knowing and having that information would help you to actually know what task or what you really want to work with this person to help them reach their highest potential and to motivate them in doing that job or whatever task you're trying to push them to do. Number two, make sure you always create a supportive environment. Whether you're an educator in the classroom or you're a parent, you need to make sure that you have people around you that are supportive of what you're trying to do or the assistance you're trying to render to this child. Create a supportive environment because that will yield and help you with consistency. Everybody will be on the same page. Everybody will be able to work with you the same way you want to. Imagine if you're trying to motivate a child and the other adults in your life or in that child's life are not interested. So you just realize that you are trying the best to motivate. And when it comes to rewards or consequences and all that, or when it comes to even pushing through with the plans, you may not be able to achieve that. And the child won't be able to achieve it because there'll be some pullbacks from the other people that do not believe in exactly what you're doing or in what the child is doing. So you want to make sure that consistently you have supportive people around you. You create a supportive environment, an interactive environment, a positive environment that would help with motivating this child. Another important thing that I love to do, number three, is try to use social stories and scripting as much as possible. Using social stories would let our child see beyond what we are even telling them verbally. That goes along with, do not just teach verbally, do not just teach without saying, without showing what you want them to see. And I realized that a lot of social stories, if you have access to the internet, on Google, on YouTube, you're trying to teach your child how to relate with people, how to communicate with people. One of the motivation is seeing other people do it. It could be their best cartoon character. If you realize your child loves this particular, let me say, my child loves Barney or Mickey Mouse, you could create or script a story around that would include Mickey Mouse doing exactly what you want your child to do. Seeing that hero or that superhero that he or she loves and adores so much, doing exactly that motivates our kids. Why do you think our kids learn all these songs? Barney, Mickey Mouse, and even regularly songs. And they just get carried away singing it and getting so used to it because they adore those characters. They see they are so important in their lives that they want to copy it. For example, when my younger daughter was young, all of a sudden I see this girl, like every little thing, she's like, I'm like, why is this girl doing this all the time? Until a cousin of mine visited and it was like, do you realize Barney does all that? Like after each song is like, and I just noticed that she was watching Barney and she started doing that. I'm like, what? So things like that, the kids really see life that way. I remember growing up too, and I see the advert of a tooth, I think it's Close Up or I can't remember, Maclean's. And then they put it on the toothbrush and it kind of changes color to black and white. And I'm like, One day I put my toothpaste on the toothbrush and I was waiting for it to change. So imagine if there's a story written about that, on that to, include what my parents really want me to learn. I'll be the number one person to really want to follow that script. So scripting helps in motivating children with special needs as well. Also, break learning tasks or information into simple and smaller steps. Chunk information. You want your child to wash the dishes. You want your child to finish their homework, or you want this child in the class to complete an assignment. You can chunk it. Sometimes it may be overwhelming to this child, seeing a lot of information or trying to do a lot of things at the same time. And one thing about being overwhelmed with tasks like that is that at the end of the day, they feel like a failure. They feel like, I couldn't even finish it. And they are not motivated next time to want to complete the assignment. And more reason why, as an educator, why I love to chunk information and chunk activities or assignments is because I want my students to feel that I know that they are winners and they can get things done. I do not also want to frustrate myself, because imagine trying to tell this student to do a particular task and it keeps, I'm tired, I don't want to do it. I'll feel as a failure as well, like I couldn't even get my students to do it. But now we have to meet at a midpoint. I already know this child. I know how long it can stay on an assignment or on a task or an activity. So I want to use that to chunk my information, to break down activities, and that is where we have task analysis, which I'm going to be talking about in the future. We can use the task analysis skill to help this child, break down information, break down learning, break down activities, break down anything you're trying to let your child learn. And like I said before, while you're doing all that, you are also showing it. Not just verbally, but you are visualizing it. So if a child doesn't get it while you're saying it virtually, you also want to use like videos. When you're trying to do information, I tell parents, may not even need to wait for videos on the internet. Who is that auntie in the home that they love? You can even tell them, just do a short video about you doing this. When we have motivators like that around us, it helps to support our children. Remember, the end goal is independence, so that when we are not there, these children will be able to carry along. When we are not there, the voices will ring in their ears like, this is how mommy did it, this is how daddy did it, or this is how my teacher taught me to do it. At least there's a motivation. And also if you're doing a lot of video recordings and all that, when somebody is trying to take over from you to help your child, they also have something to fall on. Again, another important thing, number 5, is use group activities. Engage in group activities. It could be mini groups, it could be small groups, 2-3 people trying to do the same thing. And while you're doing this group learning activity, you want to put in one of the children that is able to perfect that task. You are going to mix up the group. So it's not going to be like all these kids will be lost while doing it. So there's a child motivating other people. Children also learn from children. As an adult, you can be part of the small group activity. And then break this small group activity into individual practices. With that, to be able to track, where is this child lacking? What does he learn? What does he need to know more? So, group activities flows into independent activity, where you can now see, what has this child learned? Is this child up to where I really want them to be? And finally, as parents, as educators, as advocates, as experts, we need to always model what we want to see. How best to show the world, how best to show your child by doing the right thing, right? Showing them what you really want to see, exactly how you want to see it. So remember, if you're trying to let your child learn how to wash dishes, you're showing it, you're doing it in front of them. And I always like to talk. When I'm doing activities like that, I want my students to learn. So I could do, let me take the plate. I got the plate in the sink. Okay, I'm wiping off the oil. Now I got my sponge. You want to say that so that consciously or unconsciously, this child is watching and listening to you. And those things help. Modeling helps to get our kids motivated. Imagine if you have a child that really wants to be like, I want to act like mommy, I want to act like daddy. And all those things, you are your child's superhero. Some of them even see the teachers as their superhero. That person, they want to just do exactly what they're doing. So remember, To motivate your child with special needs is what we talked about today. Number one, identify the uniqueness, that individuality of your child. Keep things simple and clear. Short, chunk information. Create a supportive learning environment, supportive network that you know these people are on the same page with you. Use social stories and scripting. And also break learning tasks into simple steps. You could use task analysis. Remember to use verbal and visual instructions for your children. Engage in group activities that would lead to independent activity at the end of the day, and model what you want to see. Thank you again for watching me at Sped Everyday today. If you're watching for the first time, remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel so that you can be sure and know when the new videos drop every Friday. Yeah, every Friday. That's the best day of the week, right? Yeah, because you can relax in your home, sit on your bed and just watch Sped every day. And also, remember to comment, share this video. Don't just order information. You know, we are all here to learn. And I'll see you again next week. It's your girl, Bola Tito Fatoki. Just in case you need to reach out, my email address is spedeveryday@gmail.com. See you again next week. Adios.